Hello, everybody, wherever you are in the world. My name is Viola Edwards, and I'm a breathworker, psychotherapist, personal advisor, and I have the pleasure to be celebrating this special day, the World Breathing Day, with a surprise for everybody because I will be interviewing today Stephanie Brillant, a filmmaker who is doing a film about breathwork. Welcome, Stephanie. How are
Thank you,
you?
Viola. Hi, everybody.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Stephanie before we start this interview. So she described herself like her dharma is to provide inspiration, to help people master their life and unlock their full potential. She is French journalist, you will find out from the accent, a filmmaker and author, a former senior reporter and TV host. Her field of expertise include neuroscience, well-being, social science, psychology, and philosophy. Maybe you have heard about her because of her film, Brainius. It is a 90-minute documentary that explains how experiences shape the child brain, was warmly welcomed in France, Belgium, Switzerland, and will be released in many other countries soon. And every time she does a film, she does a book or a guidebook with it. And this is what we're going to talk about today. So Stephanie is also the founder, listen to this, the founder of Innertainment. It's not entertainment, it's Innertainment, which I before I met her, I heard it, I thought it's so brilliant. A Paris-based production company that only produces content with a positive impact on humanity. Involved in women's empowerment, Stephanie has created and produced the first documentary series dedicated to women entrepreneurs in France. She is the founder of the LA Ladies Salon, What Can I Do For You Club, that reinforces solidarity among women, inspires and share insight. And we have so many things to share about this with Stephanie. Stephanie also is a mother of two and raises her children in LA, California. And she's a citizen of the world. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Viola.
So around this interview also, we will see the trailer about her actual film that is in developing, which is about breathwork. Well, Stephanie, for now, we have talked together sometimes, and we have done already some things together in books and some other events. And I have heard you many times saying that you work in chapters. So I know our life also is in chapters in a way, but tell me, where did you get this idea about chapters and how your chapter started?
You know, I feel like we're all in a journey. So our life, the idea to me is that we start with a lot of fear and we need to reach peace in a way. So what do you have in between? And I think that we all have different steps, and it always starts with becoming conscious. So I decided to work by chapters when I started to learn about the brain. And when I discovered that when you do realize that you are not your brain, that it's a programming, it's not really you, you become conscious. And when you become conscious, you can have the choice and you can rewire your brain, recreate something different. And so once I started to understand what was happening with my brain, and I decided that, oh, I don't want to be at the mercy of my brain. I want to change. I want to have kind of a free will that doesn't really exist. We think that we do have free will, but free will is getting rid of everything that we know. So how do I get there? And I discovered breathing. So it became my second chapter. And when I discovered that, I realized that thanks to my knowledge of neuroscience, I have a very different vision of breathing because I understand what is happening. And that's the beauty of it. Because I feel that everybody needs to be inspired, of course, but you need also the understanding, and then you need somebody to hold your hand. You need experience. you need to really, get the wisdom from it. And this is why I feel that for every chapter I work on, I need to inspire with the movie. I need to explain to get the understanding with a book. And then I need to create some tools, masterclass, events, a lot of coaching stuff to have people, take it and get empowered. So to come back to the idea of chapters, it's also because it's part of who I am. I'm not an expert. I'm a multi-potentialist. So I don't work vertically. I connect the dots horizontally. And everything is connected, So my first chapter was the brain. The second one is breathing. The third one is love. Because you can't really experience love if you don't understand your brain. Because as a child, you were attached to your primary caregiver, and from there, you kind of create what is love for you. But thanks to breathing, suddenly you can get free and discover something bigger, which is universal love. So when you go step by step, you can really be in the journey and evolve, because it's the whole point. And my last chapter, yes, and my last chapter is time, because the relationship that we have with time is pretty complicated most of the time, because we are stressed by time, because we're not ready yet. And also, one more time, everything is connected, because when you do know the brain, you do know that the pineal gland is the place in the brain where, we're connected to the moon and the cycles of lives. And it's also a place in the brain that you can activate through breathing. And some philosophers were talking about the seat of the soul. So that's why it's a whole system, and it doesn't matter where you start the journey, because you can start with love, why not? Or you can start with breathing. But I feel if you really want to explore the world, you can go to only one continent. But I have the thirst to visit the whole world, and then to give people what I learned, and they can do whatever they want with it. Doesn't matter. So yes, this is how I work.
Beautiful. And you can see how she vibrates and how she can inspire thousands of people around the world with this smile and this vibration and energy. So you said that you were very interested about the development of the brain because of your own children. Tell us a little bit more about that.
When I became a mother, it was the opportunity to go through my childhood one more time. And I think it's the case for any parent in the world. But you don't need to have children to go back through your own childhood. Because the thing is, when you're a child, you see the world and you are creating your inner world because of what you see, what you witness, the kind of experience that you have. So first you're a witness, then it becomes your programming. And after that, you see the world through this filter.
Yes.
So it's not reality, it's the reality that you think is reality. And if you don't do the job to better understand what wired your brain as a child, you are trapped. That's pretty funny, because probably I've been writing some thinking and stuff for years. And when I look at what I wrote 10 years ago, I was not a different person. I was just stuck in my brain. I was in my loop, and I couldn't understand what was not working, why I could not evolve. It was just because I was always thinking the same way. Einstein says that insanity is doing again and again the same thing and expecting different results. And it was exactly what I was doing, as so many people. So when I had my children and I was kind of annoyed by a behavior or something, I thought that, okay, where does it come from? And what can you learn from it? And then I really started to recreate the person I was. And I did something that really helped me. I moved to the States.
Yes.
And why is that important? It's because you don't have anymore your friends, you don't have anymore your identity, because people don't project anything on you. So in a way, it's a good moment to reinvent yourself, to think differently. And I did it kind of as a challenge. You know, every time I was thinking something, I was wondering, okay, let's say the story is completely different, and try another perspective. And the children really helped me with that, because we had kind of a cooperation. My son told me a lot that, oh, you know what, when you are telling me that, I feel this way. And so we built kind of a very strong relationship to have both of us evolve, because being a parent, it's not only about the kids that they need to grow. You grow again, and you still grow, because growth never ends, you know, in our lives.
Exactly. Yeah, we work a lot about the growth. And myself, I have a program about growth and grit, and how it never finishes. Like, I can see it, for example, in as my role in psychotherapist, how our growth doesn't finish. I can see it in my role as a business consultant, how our growth and education continue in our workplace, in every area of our life. I can see it in myself, that I enter into a conscious relationship when I was 44, and how much growth is that. So in every area of our life, we have infinite possibility to grow. And this is what I say, when we have when we are aware of our breathing, we're aware that we're alive. And if we are alive, we have infinite possibility to transform, to grow, to get inspired and inspire others, and also to work with our resources. So I can see that you decided to work with everything around you, your children, the movement from one continent to another, your situation, your journalism, your art, to create what you create. So this is how Brain News arrive. So how is it that the conception and gestation of the breathwork film and book happened?
So as you said, you know, we evolve, and I feel like we grow, but we do have different stages. And we go to one stage, and one stage is an opportunity to grow there, and then you can go to the next one. So breathing, it came to I experienced it, you know.
Yeah.
So I did breath work, and my first session, I stayed the arms in the air for 45 minutes, completely paralyzed like that, with a very strong feeling of having my arms in ice blocks. It was so vivid. And since I knew about the brain, I could tell that, oh, okay, it's fine, nothing is happening. You're tricking your brain, or you're not tricking your brain, but your breathing is tricking your brain. And you see, you can feel so many things. You can travel in time, have flashbacks, or see the future maybe. And you can have your cells talk, and you can visually see what is not working. My coach at the time told me that you have something to let go. It was pretty obvious.
Many things.
Yes. And while I was experiencing that, I thought that, oh, you see what can happen with such a powerful tool? The thing is that the breath is the magic, but breathing is the way to have the magic happen.
Yes.
Because the breath, if we don't know how to use it, it's kind of useless. Obviously, it keeps us alive, but we're an instrument. And if you really want to play your music, you need to know about the instruments. So I discovered that and thought that, oh, okay, since I'm a curious mind, I'm a seeker, I needed to know more about it. Then I started to dig on the topic. And I discovered that breathing can heal physically, mentally. I discovered that it can really enhance your performance mentally, physically again. I discovered also that you can have real connection with spirituality. And I thought that, wow, it's huge, because it's not only one thing. And the most important thing is that we all have access to that.
Exactly.
It's
And for
free.
me,
Exactly. It's free. And, we can just spread it out. And it's a time in the world where this is exactly what we need, because people need to be empowered, and that people need to fight fear. We're talking a lot about ecology. That's great to take care of nature. I'm really for it. But I really feel that the first thing is having a personal ecology.
exactly.
And breathing is the real key. It's a portal to everything. To me, it's you evolve with breathing. So the first step, it's personal breathing in a way. So you connect to who you are, you have a deeper understanding of what you are experiencing. And once you are at peace with yourself, you can go to the next step, which is connecting with others, with nature, opening up. And when you're done with it in a way, you can go to the next stage, which is experiencing something bigger than you, having a spiritual experiment. But you need the three of them. Very often you do have very spiritual people, very connected with their breath, but they're not human. I mean, we need to bring more spirituality in humanity and more humanity in spirituality.
Yes.
So it's what we can do with breathing. Because
you mean when you said it's not, they are not human, mean that you don't feel the connection with other human being because they are not relational, or because they are enclosed in their own world, or they think they are the best, what they are doing is the best? This is what you mean when you said they are not human?
No, I say that when you do have a deep understanding of spirituality and you are at peace in a way, and you are just fine with everything, you are doing your own path, but with ease in a way, in the spiritual level, doesn't mean that your human being is fine with it. Because very often you can be disconnected, and your heart, your organ can suffer, but you are so spiritual that you kind of ignore it, because this is happening, I welcome it. And very often I feel that we forget to be in our bodies, to really live our lives, because getting too spiritual in a way, it's great. You think that you navigate, it's way more easy, but we have a mission, which is really be human beings. So I feel that we are too disconnected. And it happened to me, many times, that I had big things in my life and I took it on a spiritual level. So I was doing great. Yeah, but it's like you're having a child, which is your human being, and you tell him that, oh, it's fine. Yeah, but the child maybe can't handle it that well. So you really need to connect with the child. So what I'm saying is that.
So you mean when we forget that we're a system, we're systemic, and then when we think that one dimension take over other dimension, and when we forget this system, how it interacts and how one dimension can impulse or stop the evolvement of the other one. So we are, as the brain is, as the body is, we are as human being a system. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the breath and the conscious breath remind you of that, because it's not only a altered state of consciousness, is a physical experience also. It's not only a thought shifter, is you can feel it in your own skin and in your own bones at the same time that you can have a great experience of transcendence. This is what you mean, I guess.
Exactly. There are so many techniques of breathing, and with different outcomes, that you can use it. If you do have chronic pain, back pain, okay, you can use this technique. or if you want to create an alternate state of consciousness, you can use another one. So it's a toolbox, but we have not to forget that we need to have our body function properly, and to take care of it, and to be in our peace everywhere.
Yeah.
So there is no part that we can ignore. So body, mind, spirit, we need to reconnect all of it and not go only in one direction. And what you said about the fact that, yes, we can heal ourselves is super important, also to better understand that with breathing, there is a mechanical part, which is so important. Just the fact that knowing how to breathe properly can change your life, really. Because what we have to understand is that if we breathe in a better way, our posture is going to change, and the signals to the brain are going to change, then the whole chemistry of our being is changing. And when it happens, it has an impact on our relationships. It has an impact on our work, our ability to focus.
And how we manage time.
Yes, exactly. So we're changing, and the world around us is changing just because we relearned how to breathe properly. It's a very little thing. We don't even need to make any effort. And also, I wrote the book because every time, as you said, I make a documentary film, I write a book, and then I create contents around it. So I just finished the book about breathing, and I use so many neuroscience research, and it's just amazing because after a few weeks, you can get rid of so many mental illness, physical disease, and also working with breathing very early could avoid so many problems that we do have in our societies. That the good thing is we can have a lot of hope, and what you do and you've been doing for years is more than ever useful, because I think that people are ready. So that's why being together as we do, it's great, because we do all our music or magic, but we need everybody to be on board, and it's a word of cooperation. I think this huge coronavirus crisis is about that. We need to cooperate. We need to be together, and we're sharing the same air, and the air will stay after us. so we have to mix all of it.
Yeah. Many years ago, many years ago, is already in the 70s, Leonard Orr created groups, and then in the 80s, the IBF, International Breathwork Foundation, was created, and the Global Inspiration Conference was created. So once a year, we meet in one place in the world, apart from all the work that individually in our centers and company around the world we do, but once a year, for many years, we meet once for a whole week, and is a place open for different techniques and methodology and inspiration about breathing, breath work. And we just enjoy the festival of the different way how we can use this inspiration to expand, to heal, to create, to reset, to recycle, to re-energize. And as you said, Stephanie, early we start with conscious breathing is so good. Of course, there is different methodology for children. There is different methodology for women who are pregnant, or people who just come out from a disease, or as an add-on for other therapeutical process. For example, I am a transcultural psychotherapist, and how I accompany that through my processes. So there is different technique, different time, different way, with all the respect for every individual. And I always tell them to my trainees, because my husband Michael is an athlete who never smoked, and I was a chain smoker, and I stand beside him, and we breathe under the same instruction, and I ask my trainees and my colleague to see the difference. And it's very obvious the difference, because from the years that I was a chain smoker, I have my left lung affected. And I said, you see, it's not about me to become like him. It's about me, how much better I am from the time that I was so limited in my breathing. And this is the message we want to give to all of you. It's not about to go into that level or this level. It's about improving every day to your capacity of breathing consciously, and how that will affect your thought, how that will affect your action. So my slogan is, when breath, thought, feeling, and action dance to the same rhythm, then we can talk about sustainability, and we can talk about success in life, whatever is success for you. So, and this is where you and me, we meet very,
Yes.
very thankfully and gracefully. So tell us, what is it that you need for your film? How can we as a community and as lovers of the breathwork support you in this dharma, as you call it, and I see it as such a meaningful purpose you have in life? How can we help you?
There are two things that I need support with. The first one is community, because the more we are involved, the more people are on board, the more people are sharing it, the more we are creating like a massive community around it, the more efficient we can be. And also, we do have a real power. You know, something has changed in the media world. It's not the media who are, you know, spreading out everything. We can now come with something, and if a lot of people are supporting it, the media is gonna take it.
Yes.
So this is a part that we can play, and it's so important to do the job and say that, oh, okay, this is something that we're supporting. Because the idea of the film is having a lot of people on board. You know, the first thing we need to do is cracking the matches.
Yes.
Because when people just think that, oh, wow, I'm inspired, or I had emotion through this person's story, or, oh, I'm just curious to know more about it, we won. It's the little fire that we need. Yes. Because some people are going to go to classes or are going to do a master class, but in a way they are already on board. Yes. And we need to take everybody on board. So that's why it's so important to touch people through emotion and through a movie, not telling them that, oh, this is a recipe, we're going to explain you about the magic. No, we're going to show you human beings who are struggling with their lives as all of us. Yes. And thanks to breathing, they were able to find peace. Because this is the story of the films. I'm following different characters, and all of them do have some trouble. And for some of them, it's illness. For others, it's anger. It can be addiction. It can be anxiety. It can be... And we are with them through their journey. And they found on their path a master of breathing. I don't like to say that, because I think the master is the breath, not the person. Yes. But somebody who brought them in a place.
The mentor who's opening the space for that. Just the one who's passing the knowledge is a mentor for a little part of the path. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So somebody had them to just go to that place, and from it, everything is changing. So it doesn't take so much time, which is amazing with breathing, because you don't have to wait for a year to see any result. The very first time you're going to see a result, and after a few weeks you're going to have, you know, consistent outcomes. And so seeing it through those characters I picked, who are very you can't not being moved by the person they are and being intrigued, you know, because, for example, we've been following a young woman. She had PTSD, and she was not able to take a shower for the last 2 years because she fell in the Atlantic Ocean. She thought she would die, and water was a real nightmare for her. And after 24 hours of workshop, she was doing apnea, staying 2 minutes under the water, and she was just back to life. And she told her that she were kicked out of the psychotherapy because they didn't know what to do with her, and she needed something different. She needed to go through the body, not trying to think too deeply and to fix the problem through the mind and the understanding, because this is not the right way to go there. And so when you see that, when you can just witness a 26 years old young woman, and you can see she was just a ghost, and she's back to life, and she's so happy and grateful, and she has a life back, you just feel like, oh, okay, something very powerful is happening. So this is why I need the community, the support. For now, we just started to make the movie, to do a trailer, to have more people on board to talk about it. So the more you can talk about it, the more you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We are creating a website. You can check things on my website, which is stephaniebrillant.com, and then enroll there in a way. So sign up to the newsletter, so then we can really be connected. And the second part is the money parts, because we started to do this film. I had the support of a foundation, the Lunt Foundation. They gave me some money to start it. So now we need more money, obviously, to do the whole thing. And I want you to know also, it's not only a film project, because at the end of the film, there is a part of the film that's going to be an experience, because I want the viewer to be able to experience it. Once they are convinced by their heart, I want them to be convinced by their physical experience, their mental experience. So there is an 8-minute experience film after this. And we are working also on creating a huge event, and some online stuff, and an app, and even an exhibit. We've been talking about that, having the film coming with an exhibit where people can, just experience different things. How do you lower your art rate and things in 2 minutes? And so it's a very global thing. And I do work also with, some collective, very engaged with governments. So we do know that then it's going to be a tool also to use for schools, and it's like an octopus. So that's the center, and it has many, many, many legs, and we're going to be able to, serve the cause.
And because it's organic, permeable, so I'm sure you're going to be able to be aligned with other foundation and organization. And you and me, we have already scheduled some film screening for this trailer. And because it's breadth, it can be add to any conference, it can be add to any summit, it can be add. So for example, we have now we're celebrating the World Breathing Day. How interesting! I mean, and we have you as a very special gift, you and your film, for our audience, people from all around the world. Actually, we kept it a little bit in secret, so we can. You're gonna.
Yes. That's the first time the trailer is shown, actually.
So, really?
Yes.
That's wonderful. That's so nice. Such a beautiful gift. So, Stephanie, tell us also more about what else you do. I mean, I know with this film now, and you're going to be aligned with different foundation, and hopefully now through IBF, International Breathwork Foundation, through the World Breathing Day, a lot of more people will know about you and about your project, and hopefully you will be with us in different celebration in different parts of the world. And also we can have you, I know, as a guest if we have a training and we want Stephanie to come with us and do part of that training and share with us part of her experience or her own mentoring processes. So tell us a little bit about, I know this situation now where we are and we're enclosed in our homes has changed many things in our life. You and me, we were meant to meet at the end of March in Bahrain. So we didn't. So we're gonna meet hopefully in September. So apart from what's happening to us and all of us now, we are in this situation. What are your next steps? What else? What else?
I am creating the Breathing Academy.
Woo! We have some Breathing Academy already with some colleagues, yes?
Yes. So yeah, I'm really working on different, because I feel it's so important to be at every level, you know. So we are creating content. I'm also working a lot on how to go to big corporation and find a way to have them interested by the topic, but not talking only about breathing. For example, I'm doing a lot of conferences about fear and how can we get rid of fear. And then you can talk about breathing and some tools. And so we're designing all of those tools to really be able to spread it out, because I have the feeling that the moment we are in, we are kind of on hold, but life is continuing. It's just that we're holding our breath. Doesn't mean that we're dead, doesn't mean that the breath is not there anymore. It's still there, but so we have to prepare something very powerful. And also we are working on a fiction, on a feature film about breathing, thanks to a doctor who is in the summit, Ila Manga. I'm writing a feature film about her and one of her patients, because I also feel that we can say a lot with fiction and we can have even more people on board. So yes, I'm going to tell you what, I don't design everything. I'm very open to what is happening around me. Yeah, so if you're listening to me and you think that, oh, you know what, I'd like to talk to you about that, maybe it has nothing to do with the thing, and we're going to find some connection. So more than thinking about what is my next step, I really welcome whatever is happening. You know, I'm open to create new things, to do different anything. So
yes, you remind me of one of my trainee, and now he's a colleague, who said, Jess, his name is Jess, who said, well, breathwork is the new old technology that we're using for well-being and mental health and et cetera, et cetera. So this is where we're going, you know, taking
it's a human upgrade.
Exactly, we're taking it into corporation, into the treatment of addiction, into enhancing sexuality, into the conscious breathing in classroom, into the beautiful work that our colleague, Joanne, is doing, and a group of colleagues. It's a time we've been working for so many years in the breath work, each one of us in our corner of the world. I remember in early 90s when I used to travel in Central America and South America and talk about breath work, and how from that time, and of course before me, my teacher and older colleague, how they did it in the 80s and in the 70s, to this time now that is like kind of everywhere. Finally is the time of this beautiful work, this beautiful inspiration, that it make us smile and make us honor life. There is this tango that said in one part of the tango, no es lo mismo vivir que honrar la vida. is not the same to live than honoring life. So I think when we have conscious breathing, when we understand what does it mean, then we are honoring life in different expression of life. So Stephanie, you know that in all your busy life and my busy life, every time we get together, kind of we have to unplug like this because we have so much to talk about, so much to giggle about, so many projects, and I really, you are one of my dearest gift of the 2020. It's
Oh,
so
thank you.
nice. It has been so nice
Thank you.
to meet you, and so nice to really explore all these different angles with you and all what is coming. So I thank you dearly in name of all of us.
Thank
Workers,
you. Thank
all
you
of
for
the,
organizing.
yes. And today, celebrating the World Breathing Day, you are one of the people who are making us smile even more, and also with giving us a lot of ideas and much more thankfulness and gratitude of how through your film and many other initiatives like this, breath work will be all over the world, everywhere. In my dream is that's going to be in every rehab center, and my colleague is taking it to every school and hopefully in every hospital. And it's going to come a day that is part of our life, this consciousness about the breath. Do you have any?
You know what? We can make it.
I
Your
know.
dream is accessible. So if we decide to go there together, we're going to make it.
Imagine that I took it in the 90s. I took it to corporate in South America, and we're doing all these again in Europe nowadays. So why not? I had in, I think it was 1997 when I had a general manager in the board room breathing. We organized the room, and the secretary was there, and the other manager was there, and the runner was there, and all of them were breathing at the same time. And today we say one word, one breath, and I experience in that organization how it was one breath, and how they hold hand, and how they giggle and cry together. So of course we can do it. And I remember another businessman who's telling me, are you telling me that with all my this breathing that I don't do very well, and this funny way of negative thinking, I achieve all what I achieve? How is gonna be when I fix this? And I said, you tell me how it's gonna be. It's gonna be unlimited. It's gonna be fantastic. And this is what is sustainability. So I want to finish this interview with your words and where people can find you.
So you can find me on my website. It's stephaniebrillant.com, or on Instagram, Stephanie Brillant without the second I. And yes, reach out, send me an email. We are creating the platform Take a Breath, the film. Hopefully it's going to be online for during today, the day. And yeah, please get connected. And I'll try to create something for a newsletter, and then you can enter your email. And also, yes, Victor Hugo used to say that nothing is more exciting than when a time of an idea has come, and this is the time. And we need to do something, and this is what I like to do. I'm French, so I have skeptical blood, you know? And in this field, we need to create bridges, because a lot of people feel like, oh, okay, it's a woo-woo thing. And how do you have them on board? It's by proving them that, oh no, it's not like spiritual crazy people who tell you that, oh, it's good for you and you're going to discover something. No, it's really good because neuroscience shows, or this clinical trial showed that with asthma or whatever. And this is what I know how to do that. This is what I can do, because I do have this very rigorous mind from my journalism background. And so what I feel is that for everything, we need to be together with our own magic. So don't be isolated, because it's not enough having your expertise. You need additional expertise to be powerful. That's why I was talking about the community, and alone I can't do anything. And I'm pretty sure that you are watching this, you are doing something. You have to spread it out, to have people know about it, and
Thank you.
yes, creating
Thank
this
you.
whole mix.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we will be hopefully again with another interview with Stephanie sometime soon. And we can continue with all this expansion and amazing thing that she's doing.
Thank you so much, Viola. Have
You're
a beautiful
welcome.
rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.